number 27. The quadratic function g models the depth in meters below the surface of the water of a seal t minutes after the seal entered the water during a dive. The function estimates that the seal reached its maximum depth of 302.4 meters 6 minutes after it entered the water and then reached the surface of the water 12 minutes after it entered the water. Based on the function, what was the estimated depth to the nearest meter of the seal 10 minutes after it entered the water? The quadratic function g gives the estimated depth of the seal g of t in meters t minutes after the seal enters the water. It's given that function g estimates that the seal reached its maximum depth of 302.4 meters 6 minutes after it entered the water. What we can do with the function g? Therefore, function g can be expressed in vertex form as g of t is equal to a times t minus 6 square plus 302.4, where a is a constant. Since it's also given that the seal reached the surface of the water after 12 minutes, so this is mentioned, that means once it reaches the surface of the water, that means that particular depth will be 0 because it has reached the surface. So what we can do is we can use this to substitute 12 for t and 0 for g of t. That can help us to calculate a. So let us substitute t as 12 and g of t as 0 and solve for a. 0 is equal to a times 12 minus 6 square plus 302.4. So 12 minus 6 is 6, 6 squared is 36. Now to solve for a, first let us subtract 302.4 on both sides. Now we just have to divide both sides of this equation by 36. So a will be equal to minus 8.4. Now substitute minus 8.4 for a in g of t in the g of t function. Now in the g of t function we will substitute the value of a. Since the question wants us to, based on the function, what was the estimated depth to the nearest meter of the seal 10 minutes after it entered the water. So that means we have to calculate g of 10. So now we know the complete function relationship. So we can just substitute t as 10 and get the answer. So minus 8.4 times 10 minus 6 square plus 302.4. So let us simplify this. 10 minus 6 would be 4. 4 squared is 16. 16 we have to multiply with this minus 8.4 and then add it to 302.4. So g of 10 will be equal to 168 after we simplify. Therefore, the estimated depth to the nearest meter of the seal 10 minutes after it entered the water was 168 meters. Now this is a model, let's say, of the seal. Maximum depth it reached, let's say somewhere here, 302.4 meters 6 minutes after it entered the water, and then 12 minutes later surfaced again. It came back again to the surface of the water, and after 10 minutes the depth was 168. After 10 minutes it is possibly somewhere here trying to come up to the surface. 6 plus another 4 minutes will give 10 minutes.